Hey everybody, and welcome back to Lindsey's Little Library. So today is BookList Thursday, and BookList Thursday is something I do with Sarah over at Sarah's Nightstand. We come to you every Thursday with some sort of book, thoughts, ideas, recommendations, something bookish related. So today's topic, since we are at the beginning of the year, we're seeing a lot of discussion around what people's favorite books were for the year. We're going to talk about the books that almost made our favorites list. That for some reason or another, there was just one that was a little bit better, but these are still solid choices and really, really good books that we want you to pick up. So the first I want to talk about is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I read this fairly early last year. It was I was hesitant to put it on my list because I talk about Colleen Hoover a lot and I was trying to give some other ideas, but yet it was still a solid read. And it talks about, and really centers around mistakes that were made in the past that had consequences that were unimaginable, and really focuses on our main character as she's trying to just put her life back together again. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Next one I want to talk about that didn't quite make my list is The Overnight Guest by Heather Gutenkopf. Now I'm second guessing myself. This might have been on my list. We're just going to go with it not being on my list. I don't remember. Anyways, so this one follows Wiley as she's a true crime writer, and she has decided to isolate herself in this old farmhouse, kind of in the middle of nowhere, to continue to write her new book. While she's there's this horrendous snowstorm happening, and it's continuing to get worse, and she lets her dog outside. She realizes she's really trapped in the house. She really can't get out. And then she discovers a small child in the snow just outside, like in the driveway of this house that she's staying in. Where did it come from? What's going on? What? It's so fantastic. It's a really quick read. I loved it. The next one that almost made my list is The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine Chan. This one is one that just really pushes you outside that comfort zone. So this one is kind of written around the premise of the government has stepped in to the parent-child relationship and is really monitoring how children are raised within the country. And basically, if they see anything that is outside of what is acceptable, those mothers and children get separated, and the mothers go to this school for a duration of time to learn how to be good mothers. And so that one hits home with, well, what is a good mother? And does the punishment fit the quote unquote crime? Very interesting. Really good book club pick. If you're looking for a good book club pick, this one will lead to some massive discussions, and I really liked it. Next one I want to talk about is Meet Me in Paradise by Libby Hoopshire. I actually gifted this one to Sarah for our book exchange. This one is a really sweet story about sisters. And so we have two sisters who've grown up together. They have really been there for each other through their mom ended up passing away. And so we have the oldest sister who really just kind of holds down the fort at home, the super responsible, has a very clear path of what she's going to do and sticks to her plan. We have the younger sister who is out in the world, travels all the time, is hardly ever home, takes all of these crazy risks, and she's out there. And so the younger sister is like, you know what, you got to get out. And so she invites her older sister to this island and says, meet me there. I'm going to be there. And you're going to have the time of your life. The older sister's never been on a plane before. She's never traveled before. She doesn't understand this. And the younger sister ends up getting derailed a little bit. And so she's got to do this whole thing by herself. And it is so fantastic. It's so fantastic. I loved it. And the last one I want to talk about is The Chain by Adrienne McKinty. First book that I've read by Adrienne McKinty and will not be my last. So this one centers around the premise of this chain existing in the world where our main character finds out that her daughter has been kidnapped. And in order for her to get her daughter back, she has to pay a ransom and kidnap another child and convince those parents to pay a ransom. And that's how the chain continues. If she doesn't do it, her daughter dies. So she has to kidnap a child in order for her daughter to survive and for her daughter to be returned to her. And then she has to get those other parents to kidnap a child. And this is the chain just continues to go on from there. It's scary how I could see this being a thing. Like, once you're on this chain, you're never off of this chain. It's just, it's insanity. And I read this, I want to say it like 2 or 3 days. I was done with this book. It was so crazy good. So those are the 5 books that almost made the list. Really close to making this. One of them might have been on the list. Who knows? I lost the list. Anyways, head over to Sarah's channel and see what she has picked for the books that almost made her favorites in 2022. Otherwise, comment below if there's any other good book recommendations you have. You guys have been filling out my TBR lately, and I'm loving it. Other than that, what do you think, Sky? Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you next time. Bye.